Oh, I can't see shit. Hello friends and strangers, welcome back to my channel. I'm very late to do my March TBR because, like, frankly, this is my second time filming this. And why? Because the first footage is more than an hour long because this dumb bitch thought that she could fit everything that she did for March in just one video, meaning aside from the books that I read, I also tried to squeeze in the movies and the TV shows that I watched, so it became so long, especially for someone who blabbers a lot about things. So it was giving me so much anxiety that I can't seem to edit the video because I keep seeing the timestamp that I still have so much to edit. So I decided to just refilm this video, and my goal is for the whole time that I will be filming, it would just be around 20 to 25 minutes, as in for the whole thing where I talk about the books that I've read. I'm gonna do that by putting on a clay mask while I'm talking about the books, and I'm gonna have a timer for 20 minutes so that by the time that the timer sets off, I'm gonna stop filming because it's gonna be the time where I'll have to wash off the clay mask. So I'm gonna start. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Sagala by Tori Tadiar. I give this graphic novel 5 stars. It's such an amazing, in case you want to know, I'm using Innisfree Jeju Volcanic Pore Clay Mask, and I used this before and it worked for my skin, so I bought it again, and here we go. Again, I gave this book 5 stars. It's such an amazing Filipiniana fantasy graphic novel. It involves gunslinging courtesans and Kuya Bunso dynamic and relationship that I just fell in love with. It would make your heart melt. And there's also so much political intrigue and so much betrayals ahead of you. So Sagala also offers so much references to Filipino culture. So there's Sagala, there are Filipino mythology involved as well, like there's Bathala mentioned. I highly recommend this, especially for my Filipino mutuals who can access this book via Shopee. So I just purchased it via Shopee and it's pretty affordable, and you're in for such a ride because, like, another thing that I loved about this book is that you can see the improvement of the author from the art style to the writing. So I highly recommend it. I think I'm done. Wow, that was quick. When I did my first video, it took me like 2 books or 3 books when I was like talking about them, and before I was able to put on the mask in my whole face. So anyway, the next book I read is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I give this book 3 stars. It was okay overall, like the plot, the character development, the world building, everything is just okay. I gave into the hype because I really wanted to read Six of Crows, and I was told that the best route probably is to just immerse myself in the Grisha trilogy first before getting to Six of Crows because of the references and stuff. And I understood where the hype was coming from, but I think what's different is that I'm reading this in 2021 when I've already like read so many amazing fantasy novels out there. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna continue with the Grisha trilogy or I'm just gonna jump into Six of Crows. I don't know. I'll let my moody ass decide what I'm gonna do with that. Next book is Gudetama, Mindfulness for the Lazy by Wook-Jin Clark. I got this book from NetGalley and I give it 3 stars. So it's a really short and lovely book to read about mindfulness and the different applications of it, like whether that's for self-care, empathy, sympathy, anxiety, and so much more. It was a lovely and short book, so if you're looking for something that's just light and uplifting, Gudetama is very relatable as a character, so yeah, you can pick this book up. Next is Happy Marriage or Happy Marry by Maki and Enjouji. I read volumes 1 to 5 for this manga and I gave it overall 3 stars. This romance manga series has the arranged marriage slash strangers to lovers trope, which I'm secretly really into, and it actually hooked me in. Like, that's why I started reading it. And this features a bimbo couple that I don't know why I'm so obsessed and I can't stop reading about them, even though like they can be so stupid and harmful to each other at times. Like, I don't recommend this if you're not into like problematic scenes. Like, there was one time that the husband slapped the wife because she was rambling on and he wanted to shut her up, so that'll make you like, no thank you. There are far more worthwhile mangas out there, so please just go that route and don't pick this book up. Next is another amazing book that I've read this year, and it's Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. If I could give this book all the stars, I would. It deserves way more than 5 stars. Angie Thomas does it again. I don't think she can do anything wrong with writing. It's such a fantastic novel that is set 17 years before The Hate You Give happens, and it tells the story of Big Mav as a teenager and before he became a father. There's so much to unpack in this book, but again, I'm gonna ramble on, but please pick this book up. You don't have to necessarily read The Hate You Give before jumping into Concrete Rose because it's technically a prequel, so please do. I highly recommend this book. The next book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I was initially intimidated by this book. I don't know, because of the writing maybe, because I don't know. I assumed that I don't have enough brain power for this book, and I regret not reading it earlier. I totally understand the hype it was getting. It's such a fantastic book. It was magical and amazing, and I loved every bit of it, but the writing is not for everyone because it could be slow or too flowery. I don't think that works for everyone, so I highly recommend looking into the first few chapters first if you're planning to read this. I think any fan of magical realism and a bit of romance would love this book as well. Next that I've read is Gender Queer by Maia Kobabe. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It's a memoir in graphic novel form, which dives into Maia Kobabe's journey to discovery and acceptance of being non-binary. So whether you're queer, curious, or an ally, I highly recommend picking this graphic novel up. You could learn so much by just reading it. Next is one that I love so much. It's our Not So Lonely Kind of Travel Guide, Volume 1 by Mone Sarai. I'm giving this book all of the stars as well. I loved every page of it. I can't wait for more. I got this as an ARC on NetGalley and I'm like, I need more. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen me ramble or scream about this manga there. Because I just love it so much. The art, oh god, the art is so good. It's oh my god, hands down one of the most fantastic art I've seen out there because of how realistic and just so detailed it is. It also features a cute gay relationship, and the plot is simple, yet it was delivered so amazingly, and it's gonna be released on this coming April, so watch out for that. Next that I've read is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it's on my 2021 anticipated releases, and it was a fairly okay. It was okay. Like, it's about a future where cloning is already possible, and it follows this woman who made cloning possible and how her husband cheated on her with a clone of her that he made. And it does sound so messed up. That's why I picked it up as well. And I wasn't wowed or like mindfucked or anything, but it's something that was enjoyable at the very least. My next book that I read is Monstress by Marjorie Liu. I gave this graphic novel 4 out of 5 stars, close to 4.5 stars. This graphic novel follows Maia, half-wolf, an arcanic teen that has survived war and slavery. So she's on the search for the truth about herself and her dead mother, and it throws her in so much shit, which frankly she got in because of her doing. But anyway, the novel also dives into a lot of issues like the consequences of war itself, and class feuds and slavery as well. So the art, fantastic, hands down. Again, one of the greatest graphic novels out there, and like it's a must read. Next is Educated by Tara Westover. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. This memoir enraged and distressed me so much, like to the point that it made me literally cry, like literally. And because I just felt so much for the author and what she has been through. Educated is about how Tara grew up secluded by and with her family in a mountain because her father believes that the government is after them or some shit. Like, they think that hospitals or anything that has to do with public service is not for them. Like, it's a conspiracy, or like he believes in the Illuminati is out for them. Like, it's so messed up. So she and her siblings didn't get to step foot in a decent or in a school. They were homeschooled by their parents, but of course it's far from what an actual homeschool system is. And when they actually show the desire to go to school, somehow their father or both the parents would gaslight them or do many horrendous shit to them. And there are a lot of trigger warnings for this book because it's just so heavy and there's so much to unpack. So watch out for misogyny, racial slurs, manipulation, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, parental neglect, as well as mentions of bipolar disorder and trauma and animal abuse. I love this memoir so much, but it's also painful for me, so I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up again because of the emotions that it evoked from me. I don't know. It's amazing. It's amazing. Last read for March is Deadly Class Volume 6 by Rick Remender, as well as Wes Craig as the illustrator and Jordan Boyd as the colorist. I give this graphic novel 4 out of 5 stars because of how everything is still continuously growing intense, and the more that I read, there's so much shit going on. There's still so many twists and reveals that surprised me, and I'm still definitely gonna pick up the sequels, and I highly recommend picking up Deadly Class in general because it's so gritty and dark and action-packed. Wow, how much time did... Okay, so I think I only used up like 10 minutes just talking about the books, and it's making me realize that, wow, I can talk about my March wrap-up without going over 1 hour. I think it's just me being anxious about giving too much detail or giving too less. Like, as much as possible, I want to convince everyone to pick up the book that I loved, but I feel like there's just not enough time to talk about them. But at the same time, you know what, I'm overthinking, so I'm just gonna close this video. So I still have 7 minutes to go before I could wash this clay mask off, but I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please click the like button below or subscribe to my channel for more of this kind of content. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again on my next video. Bye.